So hey guys, I'm taking part in a pretty fun little collaboration series kicked off by Uncle Haas. Basically the gist of this collaboration is you ask another YouTube channel some sort of off-the-cuff, random question, maybe something that can't even be answered, and then they do their best to come up with a logic or an answer to that question, and then they pass it on to another YouTube channel. So Uncle Haas kicked it off by asking a question over to Becker's backyard. If a mail truck, a fire truck, an ambulance, or a police officer all pulled up to a four-way intersection at the same time, who would have the right-of-way? So Becker's backyard made his best attempt to answer that question, and then he kicked it off and asked a question to us. Well, technically two questions. So Becker's backyard, if you're not familiar with that channel, that's another local Minnesota channel here. I wouldn't say he's close to us, but he's definitely within drivable distance. I've been following them for quite a while now. Really a down-to-earth channel. I like them a lot. I've talked to them a little bit offline through emails and different stuff like that. They do a lot of different stuff over there. They got garden stuff going on. They did pigs last year. I'm not sure if they got pigs yet this year. I know bees have been a big focus this year for them. This is their first year doing bees. They had some pretty interesting videos. There was one where one of their hives, they ended up losing a queen. They had a very creative way of combining the two hives together. So really good stuff over there, and getting an opportunity to kind of get to know them a little bit off of, you know, YouTube comments and through email and stuff. I feel like we got a lot of similar goals, just kind of looking for that slower pace of life, looking for a little bit of healthier lifestyle, and just some good life lessons for the kids, sort of those dirt road lessons and raising kids, which I think is something that really rings home with me, because I mean, in the end, that's our future there. You know, those are the people that are going to be taking care of us when we get older, and it's, I mean, part of the driving factor of our lifestyle, you know, the importance of our kids and raising them up in a good environment and trying to prepare them the best we can for the world. So anyways, Becker's Backyard, I'll put a link down to their channel, as well as Uncle Haas and Pratt Family Homes, because that's who I'm going to kick this question off to here in a little bit here. So Becker's Backyard asked us two questions technically. They asked us, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And then the second question they asked, which I think I have a much more realistic answer to, or I bet I can get pretty close to a pretty accurate answer on this, is how much coal do you need to be equivalent to a cord of firewood? So to the very first question, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I know there's some scientists that put some theory to this. I remember as a kid, some kid kind of getting all snooty about it and like, oh, blah, blah. But I don't remember what the answer was. I was probably so turned off by the kid being such a smarty pants that I ignored what he said. But I do remember a woodchuck would, how does that go? Woodchuck would chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could chuck wood. Something like that. Some little saying like that. So that's my answer to the very first question. The second one, I did a video on this, or at least touching on this topic a while back, on how much firewood you need based off your current heating source, whether that's propane or coal. I think I included stats for coal, and if I didn't, I know I looked a lot of that stuff up, but I'm pretty sure I did. I'll put a link to that video if that's something that interests you. But I do remember coal being a little bit more heat than a cord of firewood. However, he did not specify the type of firewood. That can also play a pretty big factor in there. Poplar is something that would cut quite a bit. Right off the top of my head, I would say that's a 12 or 13 million BTU units per cord of wood. If you're not familiar with BTU units, that's British thermal units. Harder wood, something like oak, I think was like 25, 27. The hardest wood that I remember was 30, but I can't even remember that species of wood. So I know a cord of wood is somewhere around 2,000 to 3,000 pounds, depending on that. The thing is, I don't remember how coal is measured. If it's measured in like inches, feet, or if it's measured in a weight format. I'm gonna guess it's measured in weight. And I remember it was a little bit more weight in it than, or I remember firewood, there was more heat in coal. just a little bit more heat. So I'm gonna guess around 2,000 pounds or a ton. A ton's like 2,000. Is it 2,000 or 225? I think it's 2,000 pounds for a ton. Don't quote me on this stuff. I want to Google this really bad right now and try to figure this out, but I'm trying to play fair here and do my best to try to answer this. So I'm gonna guess 2,000. I'm gonna guess 2,500 pounds. That's my guess. Somewhere in the ballpark of firewood. And I'm gonna say, like, compared to a medium hardness type wood, maybe something like a maple or something like that. Not the hardest wood out there, but not the softest wood. So that's my final answer for that. So now I got to kick off a question. Like I mentioned, I was going to send this to Pratt Family Homestead. I know I've talked about them quite a bit in the past, but in case you've been living under a rock or pretty new to this channel, Pratt Family Homestead, a channel I really like a lot. Really down to earth people. Mike and Jenny over there. They're such easy people to talk to. Just good. Just sharing their journey and stuff. Kind of living out in the country and some of their story, I guess, along with that. They do gardening stuff. They raise a lot of different animals, chickens, ducks, pigs is something that I really enjoy watching from them. Last year they did a lot of grazing of their pigs. Really inspired me. We were going to do something like that this year, but ended up changing our mind. Maybe it's something I'll address in a video down the road, but this year they're doing 10 pigs. They're raising some pigs for some friends and family, and they're going to do a pork chop swap at the end. And I think this is going to be such a valuable thing because it can really help speed up things. You know, we've been trying some different varieties of pigs every year, but it's just a slow-moving thing here. So in order to be able to do 10 different varieties, probably realistically, it would take us 8 to 10 years to be able to get that. And here they are going to crank this out in 1 year. So I'd be very intrigued to see what their thoughts are on this. Granted, their taste can be very different than ours, but, you know, I'm sure they're going to have some reason and logic, and it might help us get to selecting the breed that we'd like to stick with down the road quicker. So very nice cost saving side of that. So I'll put a link to their channel in the description below as well. So the channel I have, or the question I have for them, I was looking up a bunch of trivia stuff here. I'm kind of on this, a little off topic. I am a little bit of a sucker for some of this trivia stuff, especially around like TV shows like The Office, Andy Griffin. I love looking up stuff like that, kind of the behind the scenes, little things that you learn about. I feel like I could do pretty good in a little trivia like that. So I was looking up some different pig trivia because a lot of times I think Pratt Family Homestead, they always seem to really inspire me on the pig side of stuff. I like watching their pig stuff. So I was looking up some pig trivia, and I was trying to come up with some sort of question to ask them. Let me get just a little more off topic here, and then we'll get back to asking this question here. In that process, I did find one like, I can't say it's a fact, but it was something that came up, and I found it really interesting. But then I tried fact checking it, and I couldn't really find if it was really legit or not. And it talked about in Lower Manhattan, New York City area. They were a long time ago. They used to have these pigs, and they'd let them free range, and they'd be out there grazing for acorns and stuff like that. And they started having problems with these farms that were across this road that were grain farms. And they were starting to get really fed up with this, so supposedly they built this 12-foot wall. Well, since then, obviously, New York City has become so urbanized that there really isn't much farming besides kind of smaller urban farming going on the rooftops and different stuff like that in the city. And the one thing that has carried on from that point in time, or at least what they were saying with this, is Wall Street. Wall Street got its name because they had built that wall to try to keep the pigs out of there. Now, how much truth that there is to that, I've seen another theory on that saying it was related to building a protective wall, basically. So I don't know how much that was, but in that process, I came across that and I thought that was kind of interesting. It'd be really cool if that was really how Wall Street kind of ended up getting its name. So there is a correct answer for this, kind of, I guess. My question for Pratt Family Homestead is, how fast do you think a pig can run a mile, and do you think you can outrun that pig? So that's my question. So what are your thoughts? I encourage you to leave it in the description below what you think, how fast a pig can run. Don't cheat on this. Also, if you got any fun trivia questions, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. If I don't know the answer to, I'm definitely probably going to look them up. So put them in the comments below. Anyways, like I said, I'll put a link to all these channels in the description below. Just a fun little off-the-cuff type video that would be fun to partake in, and gives an opportunity to learn about other channels as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.